Hello everyone, my dear students and listeners. We continue GUI Apps with Python course. So step by step, lesson by lesson, we explore different widgets, visual elements you can use to build a window, a form, an application. And last lesson was list boxes. So we learn how to instantiate list boxes, what properties the most important, how to handle events, and it was good. The only maybe small improvement we can do is to add scroll bars to the list boxes, because look at my new version without scroll bars. User interface may be still a little bit confusing, because without scroll bars a user may think that's everything. So everything he see is the whole choice. So he may not understand. In other words, if we don't have scroll bars, he may not understand. There are more. There are more choices in the list boxes than he can see. But with the list boxes, it's very clear. You have to scroll. By the way, they do not change the selection. So if I manipulate scroll bars, I just change the view of my list box. But I still have to select by clicking or by using up and down keys. And let's talk today about scroll bars. Now, of course, it's a class, it's a widget. You have to instantiate, you have to pack or add a widget to the layout. So when I instantiate scroll bar, as usual, I need a master, I need a parent. The window my scroll bar belongs to. In my case, it's going to be frame. Look, the main layout is vertical, but the frame has now 9 widgets. 3 labels, 3 list boxes, 3 scroll bars. So the layout of the frame is horizontal. So when you instantiate scroll bar, you have to, of course, provide the master, the parent. In our case, it would be frame. It wouldn't be the main window, it would be a frame. Orientation, you have 2 choices. You can create vertical or horizontal scroll bar. And command is actually a link. It is a reference to the list box. You have to, of course, connect those two, the scrollable area and the actual scroll bar. So in the command parameter, I do provide such a reference to the list box. So that means it has to be instantiated before. So you instantiate a list box first, then you instantiate a scroll bar, so you can provide command parameter. In my form, I have new members, new instance variables, scroll bars. And again, look, I am using prefixes. So I have LBL for labels, FRM for frames, LBX for list boxes, and now new prefix STR, Scrollbar. So I still have, of course, everything I used to have. So my basically coding going to be very, very similar to the previous lesson. And yes, I do have new instance variables: red scroll bar, green scroll bar, blue scroll bar, and my form going to have constructor as usual, and just one function, one event handler. I call it on change, and we call it whenever any of those three list boxes change their selections. So I attach one event handler to three list boxes. Let's take a look at the coding. I encourage everyone to type, not only watch, type the stuff you see. So you see it's pretty much the same as the previous lesson, but my frame now it's not 6, it's 9 widgets. And the tricky part is you not only provide link between scroll bar and list box, also you have to provide a link the other way around, from the list box to the scroll bar. So this linking is mutual. So you have to, when you instantiate scroll bar, provide link to your list box, because it's vertical, it's not X view, it's Y view. And second thing, you have to provide for the list box a link to scroll bar set command. So that's the trick. That's just 2 lines I added to my previous lesson. So when I instantiate scroll bar, I provide command parameter, a reference to list box, and then I provide in a list box reference to scroll bar. So that's 2 things you have to remember in order to successfully connect the list box and the scroll bar, because of course they have to know about each other existence in order to operate properly. So green group, of course, absolutely the same. I use binding technique to connect event handler to the list box. Blue group. By the way, this is something new. I think I didn't use this statement last lesson. So what it does, it sets the focus on a red list box. Focus actually it's a keyboard input. So you may not only navigate through the form using mouse or touchpad, that's maybe the main way to navigate, but you also may navigate using keyboard, using tab key, and you may change your widgets using keyboard. And we call it focus. Focus is the widget on the screen which is right now receiving keyboard input. Only one widget at a time can have a focus. You can try, you can experiment, you can just hit tab key and you will see there is always a small visual hint you always see in the form which widget has a keyboard focus. And in order to make it clear, what I did at the end of my constructor in line 60, I set up focus myself on the red list box. So you may also control the focus using focus set method applied to a certain widget. Everything else is the same. And as I showed you, that's how you can now mix a lot of different colors and how you can use scroll bars to facilitate the navigation. So we getting closer and closer to the end of this short introductory course. The only widget we need to cover is entry field. It's very important. The user is supposed to type sometimes. So that's going to be our next lesson, entry field widget. So I'm looking forward to see you again. Please, I appreciate your likes, your comments, your subscriptions. Stay tuned. Keep coding, guys. Bye-bye.